Hello everybody and welcome back to the Eco Posh for You YouTube channel. Today we are going to be doing episode 4 of Word on the Poshmark Skreeks, and what we're going to be talking about is, in this episode, is going to be the first time that I went thrifting and what I bought, and then we are also going to be talking about the partial refund thing on Poshmark and why this might not be a good idea. I found a blog post about it, so we're going to take a look at that and kind of break it down and get into exactly what's going on with all that. So that's the plan for today, so please join us. Okay, so the first thing that I ever bought at a thrift store. Well, the first time I ever actually went to a thrift store, I think I was around 22, 23 years old, and the first place I ever went was just a regular Goodwill store in Houston. Now, granted, it was a bigger store because it was in Houston, and Houston area thrift stores tend to be a little bit bigger, but that was the first time that I actually went to a thrift store. I didn't really go to any growing up. My parents were, I don't want to call them germaphobes, but they just didn't like buying things that were used. They considered them to be, like, I guess, kind of dirty, or I don't know. But for whatever reason, I did not go, and I don't ever remember my mom going to a thrift store. I don't know if she's even been in a thrift store to this day. I don't know why I love going to the thrift store, but just, I didn't go. And so I was 22, 23 years old the first time I went. And I went with my friend J-Bo. Her name was Jennifer, but we called her J-Bo because I don't know why we like to call her that. But anyway, she was one of my best friends growing up. And basically, she liked all kinds of different stuff. I think she was into upcycling before upcycling was cool, and she was just a very artistic type person. She was like my fun friend, my fun artistic friend. So anyway, we went to Houston. We went to some kind of Goodwill store. I don't know which one exactly. One of the ones in North Houston, because I didn't live in Houston, but I lived about an hour away from Houston. And this is the first thing I bought at a thrift store. Let me give you a close-up. No green screen. Actually, it's an AI green screen. I don't have a green screen, but isn't that cool? It's just like this bowling t-shirt. And it says strike, and you can see the little bowling pins and the bowling ball. This is the first thing I ever bought at a thrift store. And I thought to myself, of course, this was a little bit bigger on me at the time, but I don't know. I just thought, this is such a cool t-shirt. Got like a cigarette hole. I used to smoke cigarettes. Thank God I quit doing that, because that's not a good habit. And obviously you burn holes in your clothes. But it was a different time back then, I started smoking it like when I was 15. And I smoked off and on, but I kind of quit in my early 30s just because I got tired of it. But anyway, this is a relic from the past, and who knows how old this thing was when I got it. But, it's just funny. I mean, it's like, why did you get this t-shirt? At the time, I thought this shirt was really freaking cool. I thought this was one of the coolest t-shirts I had ever seen. And so I bought it. Don't ask me why, because I don't know the answer to that. But, I mean, I still like this shirt. Obviously, I've kept it. I can't wear it anywhere because of the hole. And, I think over the years, I've got, like, I don't know, I had some kind of bleach. There's, like, a light bleach stain there or something, but whatever. This was my favorite, purchase, I guess, just because it was my first one, and I just thought it would be funny to share it with you guys. I saw it hanging in the closet. I was like, maybe I should show everybody and talk about my first thrifting experience. But anyway, it was really fun. I got to walk around. That's the first time I really went in a thrift store, and really Um, I don't know. I would say after that, I started going pretty regularly. And then I also started, when I lived in Texas, I also did do, you remember when Storage Wars was really big on TV? I actually ended up buying a couple storage units and then selling the stuff on Craigslist. Like various furniture and I don't know, just whatever I thought I could make money on. I didn't make a lot of money doing it, but I definitely made the money back I spent on the unit and, a little extra. All you're doing is breaking it down into smaller pieces and selling the pieces. So, I think, like I said, I didn't make a ton of money doing it, but I was able to pay for the cost of the locker, and take everybody out to dinner and, I don't know, just do, you made some money with it, but it wasn't really a full-time job for me back then. Like I said, I think I really just liked it because of the Storage Wars TV show, which is kind of a stupid reason, but honestly, I think a lot of people were doing it at the time, and I was lucky because where I lived, they had people that were always doing the auctions at the storage units pretty regularly. So, it was a big enough town to where they had a couple different facilities to where stuff like that was going on pretty regularly. So, I did that for a while. That was pretty cool. And then when I met my husband is also really into thrifting, being thrifty, being frugal, that type of thing. Everybody that knows us knows that he really likes to get stuff off of Craigslist, like the free list from Craigslist. But the funny thing is that he's found so much stuff from Craigslist. Like one of the last things that he found, I actually put in my Poshmark store. He found a couple pair of snow boots, because we live in Colorado. I think it was like 2 pairs of snow boots. And I was like, awesome, I'm going to put these on my store. They were in excellent condition. Actually, it was 3 pairs of boots, but I ended up keeping one of the pairs of boots because they were just like in really great condition. I was like, these are awesome. And then the other 2 pairs of boots I put in my closet, and I ended up making some money on those. So the only bad thing about that as a hobby, Craigslist as a hobby, is that he tends to bring home a lot of junk, okay? Like a lot of junk. And I'm constantly having to like get him to clean everything out, keep it moving, keep the hoarding. We got to keep it moving. It's so funny. My ex-father-in-law from Texas, he actually owned a junkyard. I guess I should have mentioned that as part of my thrifting thing too, because my ex-husband used to like pull out like motors or different things like that from the junkyard and sell them, and my ex-father-in-law used to say, you can't fall in love with scrap, because we'd always be out there like looking through everything. Because people weren't bringing in trash, they were bringing in metal. Okay, so they were bringing in old appliances, like, God, everything, everything from cars to wire chairs to, man, just so much stuff. You have no idea. That was a really interesting experience. My ex-father-in-law was an interesting man. He was an old Marine drill sergeant, and man, that place was crazy, but, yeah, you can't fall in love with scrap. You got to keep everything moving all the time. Keep everything coming in, going out. And I kind of look at thrifting the same way. You can keep some things here or there, but it needs to really just be fluid and it needs to keep flowing. You need to bring stuff home and it needs to leave. Okay? You don't need to it doesn't need to come and sit. But I think I get that mentality from my mom because my mom always, she did not like any clutter. We always, anytime anything didn't fit us, we would get rid of it immediately. It just, she didn't like any kind of clutter. But, So I guess I get it there, but also too, I don't really like clutter in general. And I don't want a bunch of stuff that I don't have a purpose for in my house. You know, like if we're not going to sell it, if we're not going to use it, it needs to go. So that's the only thing about the Craigslist. But the good thing is that we both enjoy thrifting and doing different things like that. So we go to pawn shops together. And I've gotten really into doing pawn shops. Actually, I still have some electronics that I need to put back on my Poshmark store. I have some really nice handheld consoles. I have a couple like Switch lights. I have one in turquoise blue and one in pink. I've got a couple like PS Vitas. I've got a couple things, but every time I put my stuff on, my electronics on my Poshmark closet, people end up hating. It's like, why are you charging so much for this? Blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, they mark so much off electronics, especially when it's, you know, somebody's purchasing more than X amount of dollars. Poshmark takes out so much of it that, and I think I bought those. I think I bought the Switch ones at the same time, and I got a really good deal on them. But still, like, anyway, and sometimes it's a matter of waiting for the right buyer to come along, because I've sold a couple handheld consoles for more than, you know, people probably would have thought that they should pay for them. But a lot of times around the holidays, they run out of consoles and things like that. And I'm not trying to like make money off anyone's misery. It's not like I'm marking them up so high that it's unreasonable, because it's not. It's just more than what people want to pay, so they bitch in the comments. And like I said, I'd rather just let it sit there and wait for the right seller, but as it sits there, I get all these hate messages from the price police asking me why I'm charging that much for it. And it's like, don't worry about it. But anyway, okay, I'm rambling. I didn't mean to ramble like that. But I just kind of wanted to visit with you guys for a minute and, you know, talk about my shirt, talk about my experience thrifting and how I kind of arrived to this point. And now what we're going to take a look at is the partial refund feature. And I was really thinking about it yesterday and talking to people about it, talking to my PFFs about it. And just nobody really has a great reaction to it. I don't know if Poshmark people are going to love it. And to me, I kind of feel like this is the promoted closet thing. Like, if you look at the promoted closet, which I think everybody that's a Posh ambassador, at least a Posh ambassador 2, should have access to the promoted closets now. If you go to your menu, you should be able to go down to promoted closet and try it. I've had access to it for, I don't know, probably about a month or two at this point. And I'm scared to try it because from what I've read on the forums and read online, either, for the most part, I mean, I've had a few people that, there have been a few people that have said great things about it, but I think those people were doing really well already anyway. But from what I've noticed, most people, the promoted closets, either they've noticed that they don't help them at all, or they've noticed that when the free trial ends, it gets worse. Like, they get less sales. And so I'm scared to try the promoted closet just because literally everybody is saying those two things. And it's not like, oh, you just listen to what other people are saying. I like to make educated decisions, and I don't want to screw up my closet by doing this promoted trial, and then after I stop using it, I get punished by getting kicked down the algorithm. Kicked down the teeth down the algorithm. I don't think so. So that's why I'm steering clear of it. But I'm not giving anybody advice on that because I don't have enough information to be able to advise you guys on that yet. That's just what I'm personally doing. So that being said, which I think it's still in beta testing. I need to check on that. And apparently this partial refund thing is in beta testing too. So I was freaking out before I had a chance to really look at it yesterday. And so it's in beta testing, which means they may or may not end up adopting it as a policy. I think usually if enough people complain, they'll do away with it, or if they get enough problems, or if it creates more problems than it solves and it doesn't really end up, like it'll end up costing them more money because they're going to have to do more support. I don't know. So we'll see what happens on that. But I'm not a big fan of this partial refund thing. But before I give you my opinion on all that, we're going to take a look. I actually found a blog post that Poshmark did on it. I was Googling it last night before I went to bed because I did want to make a longer video on this today, and I decided I may as well put it in the podcast because that way we can really just talk about it for a minute. So let's take a look at some documentation regarding this feature. Okay, so we're taking a look at a page on a Poshmark blog. I will put the link to this in the description so that you guys can read this for yourself, check it out. But let's go through it together, okay? And what it says is, what happens when my buyer has opened a return case? We are currently testing partial refunds with a small set of US-based users and plan to release more broadly once we have gathered feedback and made improvements. Please check back for updates. So if you guys don't like this, you need to send them feedback. Let's see. When a buyer opens a return case, we provide the seller with the following options for a resolution. Select each option below to learn more. And then you can see them here. And we already know about the returns, all of that kind of stuff, right? Okay. And we'll look at that in a minute, but first we're going to look at this. If a seller does not offer their buyer a partial refund or accept the return request within 24 hours, the Poshmark team will take over evaluating and handling the return case. Wow. Okay, so they're basically changing the entire return system. All right. I thought we were just adding partial returns. But no. We're changing the entire return system. Yay! So, basically, if you don't take care of it within 24 hours, then Poshmark's going to take care of it for you. And, I mean, I guess we could always call them into support anyway. Oh, that's just so strange, isn't it? I didn't know that. That's just weird. All right, so now they're going to go into the explanation of what the partial refund, what the return, and the reporting a return issue look like. So let's read through those. Offer partial refund. If a buyer opens a return case, the sellers can offer a partial refund for the items. If the buyer accepts a partial refund, the buyer will keep the item as is and receive the refund amount entered by the seller. This amount will be deducted from the seller's net earnings, just like we all thought, right? Of course. Mm-hmm. Because why would it come? All right. Moving on. And then it tells you how to offer the partial refund. Like I said, I'll be linking this page in the description box. So you guys, if you guys want to try it out or look at it, read the instructions here. It tells you how to do it on mobile from your PC. Good Lord. Good gravy. Why is this happening? All right, let's see if we can get through this and then we'll talk about it. Sellers can modify or cancel a partial refund at any time before a buyer accepts. To change the partial refund before the buyer accepts. Okay, so you can do it before the buyer accepts. So maybe you realize, okay, so how about this? Let's use this as an example. And this might be an example of one of the good things about it, right? We're going to try to find the good and the bad here. So if they can do a partial refund before the buyer accepts, then maybe what that means is, oh, hey, I had a bundle order and I forgot to package in one of the shirts. Not like we would ever do that because we're so good at this. I'm just kidding. I've totally messed up on that before. It doesn't happen often, but it has happened. So what if something like that happens? I guess you can send them a message and be like, hey, I got your bundle, but I just noticed I didn't ship this thing to you. So why don't I give you a partial refund? And then they either accept or not. But to me, the only thing is, if they accept the partial refund before the item gets there, then does that mean they can't complain about it? If, okay, say for example, they order a bundle and one of the items you forgot to ship it, so they get it in the mail, or they agree to the partial refund, thinking they just, okay, there's one thing missing, they agree to it as is, and then they get it in the mail and they're like, hold on, there's peanut butter all over this shirt. A different shirt, right? Okay, what do you do then? Are they just SOL because they already, when they accepted that partial refund, that meant they had to accept everything as is? In which case, if you're a buyer, don't do that. If somebody offers you a partial refund, ooh, oh my gosh, people are going to use this to scam. Oh. Okay, sorry. I don't mean to be so dramatic, but you know, like this new company has changed a lot of stuff. And I think change is generally, a lot of times change is good. But what is this? What is this? So, all right, so I see potential scamming. I see people. Let me tell you what I really see from this, but let me get through the information because I'm having a problem doing that. If a seller chooses to accept a return, the buyer will receive a prepaid shipping label to return the order back to the seller. Once the order is delivered back to the seller, we will issue a full refund, including any shipping and tax paid back to the buyer's original form of payment. Okay, but if you do a return, so if a seller accepts a return, the buyer will receive the prepaid shipping label. And so once the seller gets the order back, they'll do the full refund, including any shipping and tax paid back to the buyer. But does that mean that the buyer has to eat the shipping and pay for that? I don't think so from what I'm seeing, but I see potential problems from that too. Has anybody thought this out? Has anybody followed the train of thought all the way down to its logical conclusion? Or is it just a way for them to deal with us even less? It's like, oh. I wonder if they're doing this because they're making us more responsible for a lot of stuff. And that's the reason some of us liked Poshmark and didn't mind them taking the 20%, is because they were dealing with this stuff. Okay, if somebody was being nasty and ugly about a return, you could just hit the button to call in Poshmark support and that's y'all's problem now. What is this? What is this? The reason I think they might be doing this is, and I don't want to get political on my videos, but they are going after, the current administration is, they want to transform the gig economy, basically. So the Inform Act, that was something done to help consumers, but they also want to, for example, instead of, they don't want a gig economy. Okay, basically. Like, for example, you know, like Uber and Lyft, some of those, taxi apps where people can kind of like set their own schedule, do all of that. That's a really great example of the gig economy. So now what they're doing is they are trying to change the laws, and I think they have successfully done it in California, but I need to check and make sure before I tell you guys anything without looking it up. But hey guys, this is editing me real quick. I just have to interrupt myself for a minute to let you guys know that since I ramble on and on and on, and I'm terrible at explaining things, I did link articles explaining this gig economy situation in the description box. Make sure to read it since it affects you. Thanks. I do know that they're trying to change the gig economy and make it to where they're actually an employer. And okay, so there are a lot of reasons that those of us that are in the gig economy and we're sellers, that we do this, okay? We like the freedom of setting our own hours. We like the convenience of being able to, if you've got a family or if you have a full-time job, you can still do this to make some extra money. You can do it full-time. You can do it part-time. It's really up to you. Everything about it is up to you in the gig economy. And that's something that I really, really love. I love the freedom of that. And they want to make all companies employers now, to where you're not working as an independent contractor. You're working as an employee, which is going to change everything. And, hopefully it doesn't end up going through. I would prefer it not to. I think it's going to affect a lot of things. It has already started to affect Uber and Lyft. So I'm wondering if this is why they're doing it, is to put us more in control of our own business and for them to take more of a backseat role so that we can keep, our gig economy status maybe. So they don't have to be an employer and we don't have to be an employee. I'm not really sure. I'm trying to make some kind of reason of it because honestly, I don't understand these changes. And so that could be a possible explanation, but it might not be. Like I said, I'm trying to make sense of it. You can tell I'm kind of in a mood today. I'm a little upset about these changes. I'm not going to lie. And honestly, what I think is going to end up happening from this, I think that people, I mean, you have a lot of times that people they get remorseful when they purchase something or they get something. And, I feel like now people are going to, when the slightest thing is wrong with it, when there's a thread, it's just a way to chip away at more of our profit, which, they chip away at it quite a bit already. And between taxes, between Poshmark fees, between sourcing fees, paying yourself for your time, your shipping labels, your supplies, your packing supplies, anything that goes into it. This is just another way to chip away a couple more bucks, I, for one, I don't know if I'm going to be doing any personal refunds, I'll be honest, or partial refunds, because unless it's something I really feel like I need to do it for, this is not something that I'm going to be doing as a common practice. I don't want people to expect this from me. And do you guys picture it? Every time you sell something, somebody's going to send a return to try to get a couple bucks off. Anywhere from, like I can see the most annoying, nitpicky people, the ones that buy a shirt from you for literally like $5, you make, say you sell a shirt for $6. All right, you're already taking a loss for whatever reason. You give somebody a deal on it to get it out of your closet. Maybe it's not moving, whatever. So you're basically already making $3 profit once you take out Poshmark fees. And that's net profit. We're not even including our time, our labor, our blood, our sweat, our tears. And so the people that, and I'm not trying to be mean, and I don't want to get a lot, but let's be real. The people that spend the least money are the ones that complain the most, okay? So if somebody buys something for $6, you make $3 on it, expect that person to be the one to open a case to get $1 back. Like, I already see this happening with every single order. Can you imagine? What do you think? How much of a percentage now do you think? I've already been seeing comments in the forums, which, granted, those people will complain about anything, all right? They complain about, man, they will even complain about somebody sharing every item in their closet, okay? Because I can't see all my notifications. I'm missing notifications because someone had the audacity to share my whole closet. They will cry about anything, and they do, all day, every day. But but I think there's some truth to the fact that people are doing more returns lately, and I think that has something to do with the economy. And I think also, like, there's just some skeezy people on here that are dishonest when they sell people an item. They don't tell people if there's any flaws. They may act like something's in great condition, brand new, and then someone gets it and it's damaged, it's messed up, it's, whatever. So, man, I just hate this because I feel like, according to the Poshmark Skreeks, there were returns already happening way too much. Now what do you think that's going to do? We're going to get all kinds of returns happening. And I'm not looking forward to that. That's one of the reasons I like Poshmark. And I didn't mind paying them the 20% because everyone knows they're pretty high compared to some of the other platforms. And it's like, really? You know what? I'm not going to give you your little $2 or $3. You're going to have to take that. You're going to have to go complain to Poshmark about that. I'm not going to do it. I am not, no. Unless there was something I really made an error in, I don't think so. Because I take measurements on all my photos. If there's any damage, not only do I put it in the description, I take a picture of the damage. So people don't need to be asking for their little $2 back. Like, I sell my stuff. I like to have stuff at pretty reasonable prices. I do have some high dollar items, but for the most part, my bread and butter comes from everyday stuff. I just sell everyday stuff, everyday brands. And, man. Oh, I hate to see this. Because then, okay, so not only that, we're going to be dealing with these people more because especially once the buyers find out that they can get partial returns, like, they're just going to be bullying us in the freaking, in the claim thing. They're just going to be bullying us like, oh, really? Why can't you give us? Can you imagine the drama this is going to start? Oh, man, they have no idea the can of worms they open. I mentioned like 50 different things that could happen from this that would not be good. I mean, people are going to be, oh, wow. People are going to be mad if people don't give them like $5 off. I got something and, whatever. I want $5 off. It's like, no, I'm not giving you $5 off. So they go and like stalk people's closet because now, thanks to the Inform Act, everybody's going to have our addresses. Even if you had a P.O. box, that doesn't matter. So this entire episode has been kind of a rant, and I'm sorry, but I honestly, like, I got the message, and I've really been thinking about it, and it really bothers me that they're doing this. I guess I can understand how people feel about Posh shows now, because I feel that way. The way that the Posh shows people felt about Posh shows, that's the way I feel about this. So, anyway, like I said, I apologize. This is one big rant and rave session. That is not what I meant to do. But it's a podcast, so we need something to talk about. And honestly, nothing good is going to come from this. And let's see. Mark my words. It is August 10th. Mark my words. This was not a good idea. This was not a good idea. This is not going to end up well. I hope I'm wrong. So, but anyway, my fellow sellers, let's keep plugging away. Halloween's coming up. The holidays are coming up. Sales should be going back up. Summer's usually slower, so we've got some good things on the horizon, so let's try to focus on those, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Have a great day.